Peace, Love, Liberty Radio version 4.0. Prepare for launch.
OTC is go.
Packetbus is go.
PTC is go.
LPS is go.
Houston flight is go.
Molotov.
STM is go.
Safety-com is go.
STU is go.
LRD is go.
SRO is go.
CDI is go.
Launch Director, NTD, our launch team is ready to proceed at this time.
99, proceeded, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Right away, Houston.
Consequences so severe, so pull your trigger quickly, dear. Our patriots are acting up, let's punish them with fear. Hey, hey!
Hey, it's Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, episode 311. That's episode 311. And don't forget, every Wednesday I answer your questions. Send those over ama@fppradio.com. And this week, the final week of April, final week of April, there will be a show Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I know the last couple of weeks there's not been Friday shows, actually going back a couple of months now. There's not been Friday shows for the most part due to travel. There will be a Friday show this Friday and next Friday as well, because this Friday, well, I'm going to still be in New Hampshire. Saturday, I will be traveling to New York City. New York City! Yes, New York City for the Libertarian Party of New York State Convention. And, well, because that's driving distance, I get to travel the same day. I don't have to wind up leaving the day before. And when I leave the day before, well, I've got to drive to Boston because, well, it's cheaper to fly out of Boston. And I'm trying to do things as cheaply as possible. So, real quick, before I jump into what I actually have as show prep for today, let me just touch briefly on what happened this past weekend. So, on Friday, I went to Indianapolis for the Libertarian Party of Indiana State Convention. And the convention, the way it was set up on Friday, it was largely a meet and greet with a gubernatorial debate. They did not have a presidential debate, but they did allow, during the intermission of the gubernatorial debate, the presidential candidates that were in attendance were able to give a brief speech. And, you know, the way I deliver my speeches is I'll sort of take notes, and, you know, I don't rehearse my speeches necessarily. I know that there are points that I want to touch on. And, well, I wound up basically the entire speech talking about making everything as legal as tomatoes. And I had several people come up to me afterwards, and I've even had people post online about I love how simple the message was, to where everything was compared to something that is relatable. Tomatoes. Everybody can relate to tomatoes, either because they purchase tomatoes, they use ketchup, they grow tomatoes. You know, it's something relatable, and nobody thinks twice about the legality of tomatoes. And so that's what I talked about, specifically in regards to the drug war, but really, you know, in regards to everything, because we should not be taxing and regulating anything, and we don't tax and regulate tomatoes. And again, I give the example in the speech, and I'm sure there's videos somewhere of this, but I was saying that there's nothing that I've been able to find in state statute anywhere that specifically mentions tomato. Now, there are, you know, regulations on commerce, but nothing specifically about tomato, and that's really the key that I'm hitting on is why are we regulating certain activities? If there's going to be a regulation, and I don't think there should be, it should just be a general, you know, like, here's the regulation of it, don't cause unjust harm to another person. That's the regulation. That should be the only regulation. There should not be, oh, you're purchasing this item, and this item has a tax, so therefore money. Oh, you're using this service, and this service is regulated. Nope. It should be, tomatoes. There's no regulation at all. But I had so many people come up and thank me for giving, you know, a principled message of liberty, especially in a way that's easy to understand. And now coming up in about a month, actually right at 30 days, 30 days from today, I will be heading down to Orlando for the Libertarian Party the Libertarian Party National Convention that happens over Memorial Day weekend. I'll be arriving the Wednesday before the convention begins. Convention officially kicks off on Friday. There's a meeting that I've got on Thursday, and I think I'm arriving on the Wednesday. I'll have to double check the plans because I could be totally off by a day on when I'm arriving. But nonetheless, there's about a month left in the Libertarian Party presidential campaign that is for seeking the Libertarian Party nomination. And then after that convention, well, then we get to see if the campaign continues to November and what exactly that will look like. And, you know, a little bit of me is, I don't know if relieved is going to be the right word, because it's not necessarily a thing that I want to be over. On the one hand, you know, it's been a very long sort of process. On the other hand, it's one of those things of, you know, it's almost coming to the end. So there is kind of that I'm reaching the finish line sort of thing. But at the same time, it's one of these experiences that I've put so much effort into that when it's over, you know, the now what kicks in. So part of me wants it to be over because I know that it's so close, but at the same time, another part of me is that now what? And we talked about the now what not too long ago on the show. Now let's talk about something that I think most people want, and that would be a more peaceful life. And I've got an article here, 30 Small Habits to Lead to a More Peaceful Life. And some of these kind of hit home, especially if you're someone who uses the internet. They will probably hit home with you as well. And you're listening to this podcast, so chances are you're using the internet. Before they get into the first thing, they say in today's world, true peace must come from within us and our own actions. Here are 30 small things you can do on a regular basis to increase your overall sense of harmony, peace, and well-being. Number one, and this is something that I think most people wind up needing to take as, well, quite frankly, the number one piece of advice: don't go to every fight you're invited to. I'll tell you about this and the other 29 small habits to lead to a more peaceful life when we come back on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. In 1999, Darryl W. Perry began a search for traditional values, which led him down a path to the ideas of liberty. He tells the story in A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty. Of the book, Dr. Brian Sovereign says, sometimes it's funny, and sometimes I think it's crazy, but it's always authentic. Find A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty by Darryl W. Perry on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, ask for A Rebel's Journey wherever books are sold, or visit arebelsjourney.com.
It is the year 91,001 BCE. Witness humanity's origins in Hyperchronius, a classic role-playing game for Windows PCs, with a story like no other game before. A liberty-oriented experience that is not to be missed. Go to zog.ninja to get your copy of Hyperchronius today. Use the code FPP to get $1 off. Hyperchronius, zog.ninja, code FPP.
This is Jeremy Scott, host of Dark 30. You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
Before I continue telling you the 30 small habits to lead to a more peaceful life, I want to make sure that I tell you about Liberty.me. Not just because Liberty.me is a sponsor, but because Liberty.me can help you get a more peaceful life. How? Well, because unlike other social media, Liberty.me does not have internet trolls. And, well, that's the first piece of advice here, is don't attend every fight you're invited to. And, well, that's sort of the purpose of internet trolls, right, is to invite people into these online arguments. What's the saying about arguing with an idiot? It's kind of like playing chess with a pigeon. you're not going to win, and anybody that looks at it is going to think you're the crazy one. Or there's also the other saying about never argue with the fool, because observers will not know who's the fool. So, Liberty.me, it's a social media thing where it's not just social media. So, yes, you can post, cat memes and share stuff on your profile, but you also get other things that you don't get from traditional social media. You get a publishing site built right in, connected to your social media account. There are free ebooks to download. There's audio content and so much more. And again, unlike traditional social media, yes, Liberty.me is a paid service, but if you use referral code FPP Radio, you can save 10% off of that subscription. Liberty.me, referral code FPP Radio. So getting back into the 30 small habits for a more peaceful life. Don't go to every fight you're invited to, particularly when you're around those who thrive on chaos. Be willing to decline the invitation to join in on the drama. And this, it's mostly fitting for the online sort of thing, to where, there are the internet trolls that just sort of want to goad people into getting upset for no reason. But there's also what I refer to as real-life internet trolls, that they just want to be argumentative. And, well, I had a conversation with one of those people over the weekend, to where he was telling me, let me first say he was a quote-unquote representative of the Republican Liberty Caucus. And he was saying that libertarians need a cohesive message, and that we need to be willing to compromise. And, well, he never actually said join the Republican Party, but everything that he said hinted at doing that. And then when I would object, he would say, well, that's not what I said. Don't put words in my mouth. And I said, well, that's sort of what you're hinting at. And that's what a bunch of other people that are in your caucus say. And he's like, well, that's not what I said. And then he would go on to say something else that hinted at become a Republican and don't stand up for what you believe, and actually don't believe anything, because you just need to, work with us to defeat the Democrats. Although, again, he was hinting at those things. And then when I tried to walk away, he got mad and was like, well, you can walk away if you want to. And I was like, well, the conversation's just going circular. And neither one of us is going to change the other person's opinion, so it's better if I end the conversation. And then he still wanted to keep talking, and I just walked away. And I should have done that a lot sooner, but I did wind up, not joining in on his verbal fight that he was trying to provoke me into. Focus on your breath. Number 2 here. Throughout the day, stop to take a few deep breaths. Keep stress at bay with techniques such as square breathing. Breathe in 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, then out for 4 counts, and hold again for 4 counts. Repeat this cycle 4 times. And we've talked about breathing a little bit before, especially in conjunction with meditation. And I'll do this occasionally, to where I'll just, focus on breathing. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Hold, breathe in. And, yeah, it really does calm you down. Even if you're not, fuming mad, you're just, starting to feel a little stressed, just focus on your breath. And then, you wind up being more at peace with whatever is happening. Number 3, get organized and purge old things. And we've talked a little bit, I think it was one day last week, talked about the minimalism versus maximalism. And this definitely fits in with that. Stop judging yourself, or rather, stop yourself from being judgmental. And now I'm judging myself for being dyslexic here for a moment and reading this wrong. But this is something that I definitely struggle with, and I think more people do as well. And obviously so, because it's in the list of 30 small habits to lead to a more peaceful life. So if it's not something people struggled with, I don't think they would have put it in a list. So whenever you are tempted to have an opinion about someone else's life, check your intentions. Judging others creates and promotes negative energy. So it's not necessarily judging yourself, which is something that I struggle with. They're talking about just being judgmental altogether, whether it's judging yourself compared to others, judging others, etc. Number 5, say thank you early and often. Start and end each day with an attitude of gratitude. Look for opportunities in your daily routine and interactions to express appreciation. And now, I'm going to sort of, deviate away from what they, or at least what I think they mean here, to say something about what I heard recently in another podcast where somebody was talking about mirrors. When you wake up, one of the first things you do, generally, when you go, most people wake up, go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, look in the mirror, and then you start, picking yourself apart. Not literally picking yourself apart, unless you've got, weird flaky things or your skin is molting or something. But, the metaphorical picking yourself apart of, oh, my hair's a mess. My face looks puffy. My eyes are red, and you just start the day. Most people will start the day saying to themselves all of the negatives that are happening. So I need to do this to make myself look better. And so the recommendation was to write something positive on your mirror in a Sharpie. That way, the first thing when you pass that mirror going to the bathroom, you'll see something positive. And then you don't start on this negative sort of leg, if you will. And same thing here. Start the day with an attitude of gratitude. Say thank you when people do something. And I think it's really something that people need to do more of. And, well, I'll tell you the rest here in just a moment on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Coinbase is a simple and secure online Bitcoin wallet for sending, receiving, and storing Bitcoin. Coinbase also allows you to buy and sell Bitcoin using a bank account or use their tools to accept Bitcoin as a merchant. Coinbase has more than 1 million consumer wallets and is trusted by over 25,000 merchants, including Overstock.com, Khan Academy, Reddit, and of course, FPP. Get started at coinbase.fppradio.com. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $3 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spend a Bit in your arsenal. The search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spend a Bit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Spend a Bit. Use my affiliate link, spendabit.fppradio.com. And if you're a Bitcoin-accepting merchant, ask about their merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.fppradio.com. That's spendabit.fppradio.com. Well, we're only on number 6 of 30 things, 30 small habits to lead to a more peaceful life. So I will try to rush through these, but not rush too fast. Smile more, even if you have to, quote, fake it until you make it, end quote. There are many scientific benefits of smiling and laughing. Also, pay attention to your facial expression when you're doing neutral activities such as driving and walking. Turn your frown upside down. And yes, I realize that some people have that, like perma-frown sort of thing on their face, like that's their natural neutral face. And, well, that's a problem with muscles in the face. So that's not a problem with an attitude necessarily. So, you can work on stuff to strengthen muscles. But, the key here is to try to be happy. So, like attempt to have a positive expression on your face, attempt to, present yourself as being in sort of a positive mood. Number 7, and this is something that most people worry about, and they say you shouldn't. Don't worry about the future. As difficult as it sounds, there's a direct connection between staying in the present and living a more peaceful life. You cannot control the future. As the old proverb goes, worry is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it won't get you anywhere. Practice gently bringing your thoughts back to the present. And there's the saying, the future is a gift, the past is something. That's why they call it the present. So, just try to, enjoy the now. And that's not to say, don't think about how your actions are going to affect things in the future, but don't worry about the future. And there's a big difference between, acknowledging that, yes, the future exists and worrying about the future. Number 8, and this is something that I've been doing for the last year or so, eat real food. And what they mean here by real food, without going all the way in, is, like the non-processed stuff. So if you're eating the really cheap and easy stuff at the drive-thru, that's not real food. It might have some real ingredients in it, but it's overly processed and, well, it's largely Franken food. Number 9, choose being happy over being right. Keep technology out of the bedroom is number 10. And most of these, for the remainder, I'm just going to read what it is. I will post the link in the show notes. You can go back, read the entire thing for yourself if you want. Make use of filtering features on social media. You may not want to unfriend someone completely. However, you can choose whether you want to follow their post and or other sources of information that they share. What I do, I put people in the acquaintances area on Facebook, and then they largely don't see my stuff, and I don't see their stuff per se. Number 12, get comfortable with silence. 13, listen to understand, not to respond. Put your troubles in a bubble is number 14. Whenever you start to feel anxious, visualize the situation being wrapped in a bubble, and then picture that sphere floating away. Speak more slowly. Don't procrastinate. Buy a coloring book, and this is something that has really kicked off recently in, I'd say, the last year or so, the so-called adult coloring books. And, well, they'd specifically mention mandala coloring books for adults are becoming more popular because of their connection to creating inner peace. Number 18, prioritize yourself. Forgive others. Check your expectations. Number 21, engage in active play. Let your inner child come out and have fun. Jump, dance, play, pretend. Number 22, and this kind of connects with number 4, I believe. The number 4 was stop yourself from being judgmental. Number 22, stop criticizing yourself. So I was, connecting the being judgmental to judging yourself as well. Well, no, they have that as its own standalone here. The world is a hard enough place with more than enough critics. Your life is not served well by being one of your critics. Number 23, focus your energy and attention on what you want. Thoughts and words and actions all create energy. Energy attracts like energy. Put out what you want to get back. Number 24, assign yourself complaint-free days. Make a conscious decision not to complain about anything for a whole day. Yes, 24 hours, 1,440 minutes. It might be harder than you think, and the awareness will stick with you. Surround yourself with people you truly enjoy being in the company of. And this is something that I've had the pleasure of being able to do the last several years, being in New Hampshire around like-minded individuals. And yes, there are people that live in my town that I don't like, and I don't associate with them. I don't get involved with their drama. They might get involved with mine. I don't really know. I don't think I have that much drama, but I don't know what they're doing because I don't pay attention.
Why do they hate us? Is libertarianism compatible with Islam? Davi Barker answers these questions and more in Voluntary Islam and Other Essays. He advances the voluntarist cause with analysis of the confluence of values between Islam and libertarianism, as well as contemporary movements from the Tea Party to the Arab Spring. Voluntary Islam by Davi Barker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
Hey, it's the final moments of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Still have a few things to go through on this list of 30 small habits to lead to a more peaceful life. Number 25, surround yourself with people you truly enjoy being in the company of. Personalities tend to be contagious, and not everyone's is worth catching. Be judicious in your choices. And this also corresponds to one of the earlier ones about focus your energy. There was one of the ones about make use of social media. Hide the people that you don't want to necessarily see, but like maybe you still want them to see some of your stuff, so you don't want to unfriend them completely. So just hide them. But, 25 is surround yourself with people you truly enjoy being in the company of. So it connects. Number 26, manage your money. And, yes, in some ways this does connect to the don't worry about the future thing. So, some people will say, well, don't worry about the future, so spend all my money. No, don't be somebody that absolutely doesn't think about the future. Just don't worry about the future. And that means managing your money to make sure that you've got some left over. Well, what's the old saying? Well, I had more month at the end of the money. Well, you need to make sure that you've got more money at the end of the month. There's a little blurb about that. Stop trying to control everything. And this is something that, most libertarians don't have a problem with because we want people to be able to decide for themselves what they do with their life. But other people definitely have to worry about this. Number 28, practice affirmations. Repeat positive phrases that depict that life and the qualities you want to attract. It may not come naturally to you, but it works. Number 29, and this is one that, I don't think everybody's going to agree with, especially the people that are night owls. They say, get up before the sunrise. Personally, witnessing the dawn brings a unique sense of awe and appreciation for life. And I will say that every now and then, I do like to watch a sunrise. It's been way too long since I've done so. Although I think recently I've seen one or two while I have, been awake, having not gone to bed. But again, that's not necessarily good for one in the long term. And number 30, on the 30 small habits to lead to a more peaceful life, be yourself. Nothing creates more inner discord than trying to be something other than who you really are. Authenticity breeds happiness. And I authentically want to answer your questions every Wednesday. Send those over, ama@ftpradio.com. This has been Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
The podcasts of FPP Radio are licensed under Copyheart. We believe that copying is a form of flattery and do not abide by the copyright laws. Those laws serve to restrict the flow of ideas, which no one can really own. Copying is an act of love. Love is not subject to law. If you enjoy the show, consider joining the Fans program and get perks like ad-free versions of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio and FPP Radio News. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.